In the past, Zoroark has been an absolutely mid deck. Now hear me out. There has been some obvious flaws with the way that it's shaped up in the current meta and definitely has some really bad matchups. But if we're able to take the deck list and change a couple of cards, we can definitely become more favored into those bad matchups. I'm going to cover the full deck list that I've been testing for the Toronto Regionals, tell you where it came from, and also show you some games on the PTCG Live ladder. Now, if you want to know why each one of the cards are played, you're going to want to stick around for the rest of this video. And if you're a big fan of Zoroark in general, you're just going to want to watch the gameplay. I'm PJ, and this is How Not to Suck TCG. So this list comes from a first place finish by Alexander Lexan. Now, the overall list does come from the hive mind of Liam Halliburton, and if you aren't subscribed over on Liam's Metafy, you're definitely going to want to check that out because there's a lot of cool Zoroark lists, and also shout out to the Discord server for Zoroark. All the things in this list are fantastic. We've got a real thick line of the Zoroark here, so 4 Zorua, 4 Zoroark, and then what makes this stand out is the Toedscruel line. Now in the past I've seen a 2-1 Toedscruel line, but with the 2-2 here, you definitely don't run into issues with things like prizing the Toedscruel, and when we're playing this list, you do want to note a couple of things, that we're not only playing the 2-2 Toedscruel line, which is really good into the Gholdengo matchup to stop superior energy retrievals, we have 2 Super Rods, 1 Night Stretcher, and to top it all off, we've got 3 TM Evolutions. Now, we obviously want to bait our opponent to try to take out the Toedscruel before it evolves into the Toedscruel, but if we're able to just pop the Toedscruel down and then use TM Evolutions, we can not only get our Zoroark into play, but we also get our Toedscruel into play in one fell swipe. Now, if we're doing that, we're definitely locking the Gholdengo player out of using Gholdengo EX for the majority of the game. There's obviously ways around it because Gholdengo does play Solrock Lunatone and also the Mega Lopunny EX. But we also have our own Mega Lopunny EX in this deck list, and you can use the TM Evolution to get that into play if you're going up against something like Cornerstone or even something like Crustle that has stopped Zoroark in the past. So we do have new ways around the bad matchups here. We're still playing 2 Reshiram because, again, prizing in this deck is really bad, so if you're prizing your Reshiram and you can't get it back, it's going to be more difficult to swing for those bigger knockouts with your Zoroark. To finish things off for the Pokemon line, we still have 1 Munkidori because Munkidori is super strong in this meta, and 1 Pheasantipede EX just for a little bit extra draw support, and you definitely don't want to put these cards down when you don't have to. So if you're using a deck list like this, be cautious when you have your Munkidori or Fez in play because that might lose you the game. Now for the supporter line here, we have a real thick line again of the Lily's Determination because we want to see a ton of cards and then we're able to trade to draw even more cards, and trading is so important in this deck list, so we want to make sure that we're maximizing the amount of cards that we're seeing, and Lily's is going to get us there. Also on top of this, there's 4 Boss's Orders in this list. I've seen a couple of lists with 3 Boss's Orders, and majority of lists for Zoroark have only 2 and maybe 2 counter catchers, but this list is going hard with the Boss's Orders, and you've got 4 here. 3 Ionos is pretty standard, upping the count of Professor Turos from 1 to 2 in this list, which I think is pretty correct in a lot of cases, especially when we're trying to switch in and out. If you're a enjoyer of the old Golisopod GX, you definitely want to be able to switch in and out of the active spot easily, and we could do that with not only Professor Turo scenario, but we can do it with the 2 air balloons that are in this list. So we want to switch in and out so our Mega Lopunny can use Gale Thrust and obviously get things out of the active spot that are getting trapped. So the 2 Turo is certainly correct. 4 Buddy Poffin. We already talked about the 2 Super Rod and the 1 Counter Catcher. The 1 Night Stretcher here, obviously putting Toedscruel back into play in those certain matchups that you need it, or your Reshiram so you can attack with Zoroark if they're targeting down the Reshiram. Only 1 PP up in this list, and I don't know if I really agree with just the 1. It seems a little sketchy, but we are playing 8 energy here too. Now, getting those energy onto your Pokemon could be difficult, but again, remember that Gale Thrust only requires 1 energy card, and if you're Gale Thrusting, then the following turn you can start to put energy onto your end Zoroark. We're not really switching things around here with energy switch, so we don't have to worry about that. We don't have any Pecharunt EX in play, so we don't have to do energy switch either, but I would like a second Ends PP up if we could switch something out in this list for sure. One Pal Pad to get your supporters back, which is really, really good here with the thick lines, and once we get low in our deck, we can certainly draw into the exact supporter that we need. One Nest Ball here, which is also a little sketchy, but I understand it. We are playing one Artisan to help us get our basic Pokemon that are above 70 HP into play, like our Monkey Dory, like our Reshiram. So having the one Nest Ball still feels fine. Pheasantipity at the end of the game with the Nest Ball is able to get us there a lot of the games. Secret Box is the ace spec of choice here. So strong. We know that Secret Box is great, especially when we're playing a high count of tools and no Arvins. Having Secret Box just find it for us is really, really good. We're not playing Town Store either in this list, and that's been a consideration for me. And then the one card that we haven't talked about yet in the tools is Rigid Band. Now, we aren't playing Hero's Cape, so we can't tank those hits a lot of the time, and Mega Diancie EX is a problem, so we do have Rigid Band. Now, if we're doing our math here, and we know that if 2 Monkey Dories are in play, 2 energy go on to a Mega Diancie, maybe there's 20 damage somewhere else, they can push on the Guardy side 60 damage to our Zoroark and then swing at us for 240. Mega Diancie is not weak to Dark, so what happens is they hit us for 300, they knock us out, and we don't have any way of putting the prize trade in our favor because a clean and Zoroark with no damage on it is not going to do enough to knock out a Mega Diancie. The way that we can get around this is putting Rigid Band on our end Zoroark, and if they're able to swing at us for 240 plus the 60 damage, they're only hitting us for 230 damage. Because that 240 now becomes 210 plus the 60, it's 270 overall that will be on our end Zoroark, which is way more than enough to KO a Mega Diancie in those tight spots. So having Rigid Band here is really good. And then the Team Rocket's Watchtower, obviously great against all of those Terra boxes, especially with Terra Charizard running amok all over the meta. Ionoing down low and putting Team Rocket's Watchtower in play is really great, and that's why we're including 2 of them here. Obviously able to get that with Secret Box if you're just sacking and you go second and you know that there's no Fan Rotom in play, or maybe if you're going first and you're just a sec and you put Secret Box and then go Team Rocket's Watchtower, you just really disable their whole game plan. And I think that Team Rocket's Watchtower is super powerful in a deck like this. It's not so great in other decks that are just trying to slot it in as a counter card, but in this list it really, really works. So I really have been enjoying this list. We're going to take it for a spin on the PTCG Live Ladder, and I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Now's the time where we're going to promote some products here on the video, so thanks so much for sticking around this far. But I did want to tell you about One Shot Energy. Now, One Shot is a sponsor of this video here, and they have been producing awesome products not only for energy, but also for focus, and now they have voice drops too. So if you are creating content for Pokemon TCG or just want to have a moistened throat while you're talking to your opponents at your next upcoming tournaments, you definitely want to check out One Shot. You can go over to oneshotenergy.com and you can use the code HNTSTCG. That's How Not to Suck TCG, and you can receive a discount off of some of your products that you purchase. Now, if you are into energy drinks, you can avoid the spillage by purchasing the chews because they don't have a liquid product. They have a chew for you that you can just chew like a Starburst at your next upcoming event. And you can also keep focused with some of the other focus supplements. Now, they do use all natural supplements, so you don't have to worry about putting all of those chemicals into your body. You're going to find a lot of the more natural ways to sustain energy and focus, as well as lozenge your throat with these one-shot drops here, like I have. Now, if you do like this product, let me know down in the comments below. That's all I've got to talk to you about today for promotional items, but let's get back to the video. Okay, here we go. We are waiting to see what our opponent is choosing. They did win the coin flip. So this deck obviously wants to go second. And we want to make sure that we're getting all of our Pokemon that can draw cards out, which means that our end Zorua. And it looks like we don't have too much going on in this hand, but thankfully we mulligan. And this is mulligan 2 on here. Okay, so the Ends Reshiram can definitely come up. It's totally fine. We can always put a TM Evo on here. Lily's Determination in hand. Double Buddy Buddy Poffin is real clutch, and I like that a lot. Okay, so we're playing up against the Terra deck, and typically we are not scared of this because of the Watchtower, but beforehand, before Watchtower, it was really, really bad. But the Charmander, Charizard combo can help. We're going to see if they play into the Dusknoir. And it doesn't look like they're going to get any Duskulls down on this turn, so we don't have to worry about playing around the Dusknoir lines or the Dusclops lines. There's the Pidgey, there's the Hoot Hoot. Okay, so there's the Duskull. We are going to be cautious of that. That's really how they're going to knock us out here. I'm going to go ahead and just search for our prizes. They don't play anything, so we don't even need the Toedscruel line. We just need to get some Pokemon out. So I am going to go ahead and just get our Zorua out here on the field for now. And I don't think that we want to put the Bunnyary... well, maybe we do. Let's go ahead and do that. So again, we're getting our Pokemon out. Let's go Zorua, Bunnyary. We're going to attach active and then spin the wheel for Lily's Determination here and see if we can draw into the TM Evo. We didn't draw into TM Evo, but we did get Watchtower, which could be really fun. And then we'll just go like this, and then we can go Watchtower. And that's going to shut off anything here. We can go for a late game Watchtower if they bump our stadium. And I think that... yeah, I don't think that we need to bench lock ourselves with this Buddy Buddy Poffin. We can just wait for next turn and see how it goes from there. Alright, so they've got the Rare Candy into the Pidgeot. Pidgeot is not going to be able to find anything because Watchtower is in play. And they have a Terapagos into the active spot. So we can Lily again and try to draw more cards and push energy onto the end Zorua. That way we're able to start the process of just building our board state. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. They can't do too much to us. I kind of want to boss's orders, but that's totally fine. Let's just go ahead and Lilies and see if we find our Zoroark. No Zoroark, no TM Evo. Again, we're not bench locking ourselves, so I think we're just going to play it slow here. We have the accidental Arven in our deck, but Arven can be pretty good here. And this was the prior list, so I'm gonna have to take that Arven out. So sorry for being on fraud watch here, but we're just gonna pretend that we don't have it like that. So I think that we're just gonna play an Iono here and see if we can draw cards. I know that we had Arven in our hand, but we're going to pretend like we didn't because that's not the correct list. Okay, so this is really good, actually. So let's go here. Let's just go Evolution and evolve this and this so we can draw more cards. And then we can Lily again. And then start swinging into this thing. If we drew into Air Balloon plus Energy, we could go into the Mega Lopunny. But I want to save Mega Lopunny for the end of the game. And that's actually kind of fine. So I don't care if they knock this thing out. That's totally fine. We just really shut them down with what they were doing. So that kind of gives us a little bit more to play with. Alright, so let's start trading some stuff away. I want to trade this away. And then we can definitely trade the Toedscruel, because these are just jank cards we don't need in our list. Okay, don't need this boss yet, and we can boss later in the game. Okay, so there's that. Let's just go and put this back into the deck, because those are good cards. We can even get the bunny back out. And we don't want the secondary one. Let's just go Lily's Determination. Seems pretty good. And then we can attach to this Zoroark, and then just Night Joker, take out the fan. Virtuous Flame is fine. They're only going to hit us for 210 damage because we've taken one prize with Charizard, and if they swing into us with that, they're going to be reduced with the tool card here. So the Rigid Band is going to reduce them from attacking us by 30, so it's only going to do 180. And then they're going to try to pop a Dusclops on us, okay, later in the game, but we still have access to so many things in our arsenal. The Rocket's Watchtower is really good. If they swing into us with Charizard and don't KO us, then they are definitely going to be in a really poor spot, because we can KO that Charizard in one shot, and we're building up our backup attacker in the end, Zoroark, on the bench. So all this being said, we're in a really good spot against a really heavily played meta deck. And they don't have a backup Charizard. They're going to try to hit us with Terapagos and just attach. Okay, this is totally fine. We can even go for a boss play on the Charizard. Yeah, 120, nothing here. So we can swing 240 into this thing. And I kind of want to chase the Ghost here, but we need more energy for sure. So that's kind of where I'm at. Let's just go ahead and toss this, and we'll pretend that this doesn't exist. We can go ahead and go like this here, and boss. I think that, well, we're just gonna leave the stadium in there for now. Alright, let's get rid of some cards. So we don't want to go with boss. We can definitely take a KO here. Then they're going to be able to KO us for the rest of the game. I kind of want to just swing into this Charizard, because that's what I care about. Let's just go trade. I don't want a Turo. Yeah, I think let's just go in and trade this boss away. Okay, then we have another Watchtower, and then we can Iono the following turn. So we can put an Air Balloon on this to pivot, and then we can end PP up. I think that that's the better way to go. And then they don't have too much. We're in Powerful Rage for 240. They can hit us again for 180 and knock us out, and that's going to put them down to 3, and then I can Iono with Watchtower still stuck and take out their Charizard. And that's going to feel a lot better, because the Terapagos can't really ever knock us out without them going into a Dusknoir play, and all of their colorless Pokemon have their abilities shut off. So I still think that we're in a really good spot here. and we're not going to be falling short to anything, that's for sure. And they're just kind of locked up, and we've got a backup Team Rocket's Watchtower if they put anything into play. Okay, and they're just going to go ahead and pass. They might have disconnected, to be honest. We're just going to get rid of the fodder in our hand. We don't want the Toedscruel. We're just going to go here, and yeah, I'm just going to load up. Actually, I think I'm just going to load or trade first before I plant energy, because that's smarter. We don't need this Buddy Poffin. We actually don't even need the other Zoroark. We can always rot it back if we have to. I literally cannot find... I just can't find this Mega Lopunny. And yeah, they just concede. There's just so much that I have going on, and I'm just winning this game. Alright, we're going first this time around, so we can put Zorua into the active spot, even though it probably will get knocked out if we're playing against the Zoroark deck. But if not, we don't have our Ends Reshiram that we have to get out of the active spot for a later time. So we're playing against Dragapult, which is pretty good here. So let's just go lock in all of our Zoruas, do a prize check real quick. Let's see what else we've got here. So Toedscruel is pretty good in this matchup because they do play a couple of Night Stretchers. Or Toedscruel, rather. And we are probably getting item locked this next turn. So I don't know if I just want to go for a big Zorua line. I think that that's fine. Yeah, let's just get this. And let's attach the energy to the active spot. We could get Iono'd, so we could just put Reshiram out in play and then just end the turn here. Now, this also sets us up if they go into a Budu item lock play. We could push damage with Monkey Dory potentially, and then we can go ahead and hit Scratch and take out the Budu. So that's another thing that I'm thinking about here with this line, and it looks like that's exactly it. They are going to discard their energy, which we kind of compensated for with this Toedscruel. And if we can get it into a TM Evo play, that's going to be real good here. Unfortunately, did not get into the TM Evo play. So I think that what we're going to have to do is just plant our energy for now. And then we could boss to force something up. So I kind of like that play. Let's just go like this. We do play 8 energy, so I think I'm just going to go here and hit this Dreepy, and that's going to turn off the ability for them to item lock us and hit us for 20. We really don't want that to happen. There's the Latias. Ugh. And the Hilda. Hilda's actually okay. We're fine with that. What we really need is the TM Evo. All right, here we go. We've got the Dracloak. And there we go. Let's see. Cloak coming down. Here's the Budu. Are they going to attach energy? They are going to attach energy. That's totally fine. So Ultra Ball. Getting rid of Watchtower. Watchtower is actually really good against us because we're the triple TM Evo. So that could be potentially bad. But they're a spread deck. They take multiple prizes. So we have to be really cautious of that too. And then the double Turos in this list helps us out a lot to get there. So I think that looking at this list a little bit more, we want to be really careful pushing damage and doing literally anything. So all we need is like one card. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I think I'm going to get rid of the Turo here. Let's just go trade. Ooh, the Iono is really good. Okay, so we're going to do that. Iono, it gives them more cards, but it also gives us more cards. This is fine. Alright, we can't use items, so we're just going to trade. Alright, they have no Duskulls, which is pretty fine, and then we're able to draw cards. So I like this play a lot. They aren't going to be able to one-shot us with a Dragapult next turn, take double prizes. They could potentially Boss's Orders our Reshiram and then take out Toedscruel with a Phantom Dive. We haven't put any damage on their board aside from the 20 damage, so they could take out Zoroark also. But pushing the 260 is really bad for them if they push it onto the active spot. There's the Night Stretcher. They're going to use that now. I think it's safer for them to just item lock because then they can push the 20 damage. They are planning energy, which makes me think that they don't have a backup Pokemon if that Dragapult goes down, and I'm going to put that Dragapult at the bottom of their deck. That is my plan here. Alright, so we got our Toedscruel. That shuts off their second Night Stretcher. That's pretty good. Trying to think if I want to go active. I kind of do. So let's just put that here. Let's go ahead and Iono and put their Dragapult at the bottom of their deck. Alright, perfect. We don't really need this TM Evo anymore. We, I guess, don't need our Buddy Poffin anymore. Alright, that's kind of fine too. We could take out the Badoo and manipulate that damage. And there we go. So we're taking our first prize card. We're putting ourselves out of range of getting KO'd. There's the monkey. We got rid of their Dragapult in hand. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Let's just sit here because yeah, they can push 20 to us. We can push the 30 back and KO. They shut off our jamming tower. We have Rocket's Watchtower in our hand to bump that if we really need to. And there we go with the Dracloak. Doing some Recon Directive. We really don't want to put Mega Lopunny into this yet. They can Blood Moon us later in the game too, so we do have to be cautious of that. But Team Rocket's Watchtower is pretty good. So we haven't used any Watchtower yet. They have this one jamming tower. Their second jamming tower is in the discard pile. So if we stick Rocket's Watchtower, that shuts off their Blood Moon Ursaluna overall. And that's really, really good for us. Alright, here we go. They're going back in for their Dragapult. They're going to start to Phantom Dive here. They could push damage and then just take out the Zoroark. Still pretty good for us. There's the Iono. Okay. I kind of don't mind that. Alright. Rigid Band, also really good. Okay. Sure. Not exactly sure what they're going for here, but that's fine. Okay, so now I think it's time to just push this. Here's our rigid band. Here's this guy. We're gonna go ahead and get this out of here. And we'll go with our other Reshiram. We'll start trading. We don't need the Toedscruel right now. We aren't gonna need the Buddy Poffin. We're gonna pretend that this Arven's not real. Alright. Let's push the 30 onto the active. Because they only have one Monkey Dory in their deck. And then we can take a 2-prize knockout here. I'm kind of fine with that. We could take out the monkey. Monkey seems fine. Then they can't push damage back on us. And they don't play rods, so they can't get Monkey Dory back with Night Stretcher anymore. I'm kind of fine with that. Now they can gust and get something into the active spot that I don't want. Like they can gust the Toedscruel and KO that, which is fine. It's just like a bait for them. So they would go even on the prize trade. They are going to use Artisan and fail it. Iona's still pretty fine. I'm okay with that. We can take a 2-prize knockout here, and then hopefully we draw the Watchtower, and then if we're just able to swing into something, we're good. I mean, double boss in hand, really, really good too. We've got 3 trades online. I mean, this board state's feeling really solid. Trying to think of how they are going to take potentially a 5-prize turn, especially if we can get into our Watchtower. There's the counter catcher. We kind of saw that coming. Now we have Night Stretcher to our disposal. So that's good. We can get a boss out of our hand. Let's take a look. We've got 2 bosses in there already. We can boss next turn and then just bait them into trying to attack us with a Dragapult as we trade away everything else in our hand. So still feels fine. I'm feeling okay about it. Yep, there's that. Okay, let's push this because it's got free retreat. Okay, let's see what else we got in here. All right, so step 1 is going to be, let's trade this energy. Feels okay. Let's put this, and this back into the deck. Use our Artisan. Go ahead and abuse the Artisan and put the Reshiram back in. We're swinging for 220. Okay. Let's just start to trade. Let's get rid of this Lilies. Let's get rid of the Toedscruel. Let's push the... I want to just push the 10 damage off of here. And then I mean, we could Turo this up. I don't like that play, though. Let's just go here, kill this thing. Retreat, go here. Slap the Night Joker. Virtuous Flame, KO this, go down to 2 prize cards. They're probably going to Iono us and Counter Catcher. It still feels okay. We've got the 1 energy on the damage Zorua, so we could ends PP up as long as the Counter Catcher Iono play doesn't stick. There's the boss, so they are not Ionoing us. That's totally fine. I'm cool with that. They're going to put 6 damage counters on this Zoroark. We're going to move 30 off. There's the Blood Moon. Blood Moon energy. Recon Directive. They're going to have to spread out the damage on here. I'm cool with that too. It's all going on this guy. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Alright, let's push damage with Monkey. And then let's Turo Monkey. Put the monkey back down. Start to trade. And here's Watchtower. Push the other 30. Ends PP up. Go here. Put this here. That doesn't matter. Let's trade away a Lily. Even better. And then let's just Night Joker into this Dragapult for 170. We've got a boss in hand. We've got Pale Pad in the deck. Everything's feeling okay. They will have to swing at us with the... Okay, so there's the Dust Skull. Kind of fine with that. We do have boss's orders, so they're going to have to Iono themselves to 2. It doesn't feel great for them, I guess. Unless they play a sneaky 3rd Watchtower. Or not Watchtower, Jamming Tower. There's the other Pult. There's the Neo Upper. There's a boss. Getting rid of the Reshiram. We got Reshiram in hand. Okay, so they use boss, so that means they can't Iono. Still really good. And we've got boss Reshiram in hand. And that's going to give us the game after this turn. It's going to be interesting where they place the damage counters. And we're just going to watch them cry, really. I mean, the Dragapult matchup is pretty tricky. But I think that with all of the collateral that Dragapult is taking, it's just so hard for them to get over and get around on here. So yeah, there's the 60. Hitting our Reshiram. We're just going to go in with our big beefy and Zoroark. Put it in the active spot. We got this thing locked up. I mean, I'm putting it over here. And we're just going to boss. And there we go. Night Joker, we don't have to do much else. We're just going to pop this thing for 170. And there we go. Okay, let's see if we can play up against something a little bit different. Still in the meta. We played against a couple of meta decks already. I mean, I'm really liking the way that this build is going. It's pretty straightforward. Obviously, hard counters to a couple of different decks. I would really love to play up against Goldango just to see if the techs are working. But in paper, it definitely does help to have just like that spam of the Toedscruel into the list. Here we go. We're hitting another mulligan. Going from there. Okay, so this is a decent hand. Playing up against a Greninja. So, unfortunately, our Mega Lopunny can't really come into play here. Toedscruel could be pretty good, and then obviously Watchtower is pretty good in this list here. I know that they can search stuff out with Greninja, so putting Watchtower in play and then being able to Iono. Wow, 4 mulligans, that's crazy. Alright, the Latias, that looks good for us. I like that in play. I'm going to leave that there for a little while. And we're just going to go heavy Zorua for right now. Just plant an energy. Hope that they don't Iono us, and then we can go into Reshiram. I think that that's fine too. And then let's just end the turn here. Again, being that we play double Air Balloon, we don't feel so bad about having the Ends Reshiram in play. And then also, when we play double Turo, that also feels fine, so we could play into that. There's the Badoo. That's really what they're going to try to do, is just Badoo lock us for a turn or two. Kind of cool with that. Here's the boss's orders. For the Reshiram, makes sense. Jamming Tower also makes sense. And then going in for a nice Badoo slice on this thing. And they're just trying to play the long game with the Greninja deck. We're playing the long game too, so I'm cool with that. Can't play any items. Could just try to go in like this. And go here. Lily's Determination, draw a ton of cards. There's our Zoroark. We don't need Mega Lopunny here. Toss that out. Starting to evolve. Do a couple things. We have 2 Dark Energy in hand, so we can get rid of the Dark Energy there. Secret Box, pretty good too. And Turo, so we don't have to waste this Air Balloon. I think just going in and ending turn it. And that's the other nice thing about playing double Super Rod. Not only can it become a way of getting your Pokemon back that are important in a matchup, but also you can make sure that you can discard your energies and then get your you can get them back into play after. So let's just go here like this. Let's remove this Reshiram from play and go here. They are going to probably try to go for like a Devo play, just because we're EXs and not Terra EXs, so that seems kind of fine. I'm just going to keep trading so we don't lose too much here. I think Lily's, because we are going to not draw 8 this time. Still feels okay. Let's just Night Joker. We'll hit him for 170. No damage in play. If they hit us for 170, we can swing and take this thing out. So that feels pretty bad for them. We can also kill this Latias too. Most likely what we're going to see is an Iono play here, and they're not going for Iono. They are going to draw a ton of cards with Fez and Greninja. Okay, so they're swinging 120 into a couple different things. That's fine. I'm going to try to go for a big Devo play here. There's the Pidgey. With Watchtower in play, it doesn't feel too bad. They are going to have to use this. ignition energy this turn, otherwise it just goes to waste. They're going to probably pop 120 twice and try to go for a Devo play, so we're going to try to make that not happen for them. I think just Iono spam is going to be the way. Alright, so maybe not a Devo. I'm kind of cool with that. I kind of know that. Alright, we're going to swing into some things here. I think cleanup for the end of the game. We want to kill this thing. Do I want to kill the Pidgey? Probably not, right? I think what I do is I just go here, here, here. And then I want to get this, this, sure. I don't really need anything else, honestly. Yes, this is fine. Here, here. Load up the secondary one. Here. And then just go Iono, and that's thin the deck a little bit more. Thinning their hand too. Feels good. Still have access to Toedscruel could be good, so they can't play like a Dusknoir line into us. Probably what they want to do. I think getting rid of the boss here is correct, because we don't need boss this turn. Putting second energy here is also really good. I think we could just like manage with double Zoroark, so putting that, and then we always have access to Rod too. And then yeah, just putting another Zorua into play feels good too. And we can Night Joker, swing at this thing for 170. They're gonna have to find their another ignition energy, but we have Artisan, so we could always put another Ends Reshiram back down into play. And we can Iono. So there's the Grand Tree. Feels fine. Going into their Pidgeot, most likely. Yep, that's exactly what they're doing. They're gonna Ignition Energy, kill the Reshiram Toedscruel, I think. That sounds correct. Here comes the Quick Search. Again, I don't know why you wouldn't try to set up for a Devo play. That's kind of where I'm at. They can take another 2 prize turn, but we can Iono them down low and then put Artisan in play. Here's a boss. Interesting. I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Just kill 2 of these things. We can Turo this thing up. There's the Skull. Skull's pretty good. Cool. I'm down with that. Alright, we're gonna go down to 3. They're gonna go down to 3. Even on the prize trade here. We don't even have to use our thing. Let's just go like this. Pick this Turo up, or pick this up with Turo. Let's smash it back down. I really don't want them to have Grand Tree in play, so none of this feels great. Let's see what we can draw first before we preemptively Artisan. I think if we can get into a Watchtower, that would be fantastic. Not get into a Watchtower. Here's the Artisan. Let's go in and see what else we have. Can always put Monkey Dory in play. That seems pretty fine. And then let's just get rid of this Toedscruel. We don't need that. Oh yeah. Next turn is going to be great. It's just Night Joker 170. Take this thing off the board. Greninja gone. Now they have to rare candy if they want an attacker. So that's something that's going to have to happen. And then here comes the Pidgeot. So next turn, essentially what we're going to try to do is just go in and Iono into Team Rocket's Watchtower, hit them for whatever. Okay, here's the Greninja. Greninja has no energy on it before it evolved, so they are going to swing for 150 into us, which means that we can push damage and then swing back at them with the powerful Rage attack. So you have to think doubling the 150 is going to be 300. And then we can push damage with Monkey Dory. So that's another thing that we can do. They will have to pop. Oh, okay. That's kind of crazy. I like that, though. If we just draw a raw boss, though, we're chilling. We are chilling. I think popping the Noir onto the Reshiram makes the most sense. And they haven't supported yet. Going into a Badoo. Interesting. Interesting move. Alright, here we go. Nothing on my Zoroark. Okay, so we can shut off this. Let's see, do we have both of our air balloons in the deck? We have no air balloons. Well, one of them is in the prize cards. So what I think I want to do here is we want to go boss up Latias, trade away this Zoroark, and then just go in and Night Joker 170. There's the Virtuous Flame. Going down to 1, shuts off the Dusk Noir. They can't pop it or we win the game. And then here comes the Pidgeot that does not have the Quick Search ability anymore. They can Ignition Energy and go 120 and knock out the Monkey Dory, but they are not going to be able to knock out our Zoroark to take a 2-prize turn or a 2-prize game. We only have one Pokemon in play that has 120 or less. Everything else does. So they could try to essentially trap a Reshiram. But Pidgeot is not going to be able to get them Counter Catcher unless they already had that in hand. So they're just thinning the deck by getting the Dusclops out and the Ignition Energy. They're going to swing with Greninja. Probably take the Monkey Dory out. Seems fine. And then we can just go try to draw in the boss for game. We have a super low hand size. If they do kill the Monkey Dory, that opens our Fez up. And all good things here. So here we go. Again, super thin deck. We get to draw 1 off the top, leaving us with 9. Then we'll draw 2 more, leaving us with 7. 2 more, leaving us with 5. And then we can Fez. Alright, so there's the 1 off the top. Let's go ahead and just put 2 more bosses into the deck for game here. And then let's just draw Fez, flip the script. That didn't do it for us. Trade. And there's the boss. And we can just go like this. Boss's orders. Get the Badoo. And that's the game. Wow, what a wild ride. This deck has so many awesome newer lines that are able to be played into. All of the technology that was put in this deck here with the Triple TM Evo, over something like the Cyrano in the other builds. Lily's is absolutely cracked in this deck list. I love everything about this, and there's so many different things that you have to think about with an Zoroark deck. So hopefully through the gameplay, when I was talking through things, you were learning about what you can discard versus what you can't. And I actually learned a lot of that from playing older formats, because trade has always been a great way to get yourself in a great board state and draw a ton of cards and know what you have to have as a resource and manage those resources better. Now, if you're learning things from these videos, I definitely would appreciate it if you were able to subscribe to the channel or at least hit like on this video. It's absolutely free, it costs you nothing, but it definitely helps me out here make more videos for this channel, and there's going to be a lot more coming up in the new year. So hopefully you're enjoying this, hopefully you're gearing up for your next Pokemon TCG tournament, and you're learning how not to suck. One last time, I'm PJ here with How Not to Suck TCG, and we will catch you next time.